Since I have played this game already for 700 days and I have been archer main throughout every single day of Call of Dragons, I can answer some of the questions which are around new heroes, new archers. Are they really worth to invest? Should free-to-play player, pay-to-win player, or even low spender invest in Sybil and Falgrim? Of course, I will try my best to answer those questions because I truly believe planning ahead in Call of Dragons is the most important thing, especially as a free-to-play player, which you can actually do, right? First of all, let's briefly undermine the pluses and minuses of Falgrim and Sybil. Falgrim is mainly burst damage, like purely damage dealer of hero, which is PvP hero. Of course, we have to think about other heroes. Maybe other heroes are even better in terms of dealing damage to open field. But if we're gonna compare Sybil to Falgrim, Falgrim is purely damage dealer, even like burst damage, not continuous damage, because its main idea is to deal damage by the skill. And Sybil is like a hybrid. Sybil can be a little bit damage dealer and little bit buffer debuffer, right? That's the idea behind the control tree. In order for us to understand like what would be the best ways to like invest in these heroes, well, of course Falgrim is more viable because you can get Falgrim from the lucky spins, which means you just have to spend some gems in order for you to unlock Falgrim. And one big idea about PvP heroes is that every single skill which you are going to upgrade and add levels will be important, because there is not a peacekeeping or garrison or I don't know any other skills. Every single skill will be usable for the battlefield, right? And if we are speaking about free-to-play players and low spenders, best ways to invest in this game in heroes, that's of course PvP heroes, right? And I think in terms of like comparing Falgrim to Sybil, I would suggest to add levels on Falgrim, because every single level is really valuable for every single player, especially during the like 4 or 5 levels, because like every single level will increase 2 or 3 or even 4 percentages of the buffs from the skills, right? And this is the Falgrim burst damage. All the skills can be great to add levels, and plus PvP hero is always great, right? And in terms of Sybil, as I said, Sybil is more of a hybrid. Sybil is more of a semi-damage dealer, but more of a debuffer and buffer. Of course, in terms of adding levels, I would suggest more of a pay-to-win players or high to low spenders to invest in Sybil, since the second skill already is the rally skill, right? And rally skills are generally great for tier 5 players, players who are having 100 million power, whale players whose main idea is to win rallies. Like, trust me, every single alliance has players who have designated rally leaders, right? And I think Sybil can be really great rally leader. That's why in terms of like adding levels, it's really awkward. Like, of course you want to have first skill 5 level, but after that for PvP you generally don't want to have any levels here, which means 5111 will be Sybil's way, and then you kinda have to be lucky in order to put your levels on the 3rd and 4th skill. Of course, in terms of awakening, this Sybil is amazing awakening. Well, extra 100 damage might not sound really high, but if we're gonna like check the synergies and the idea behind defense break and rage, plus dealing like having like stacks and increasing attack in percentages, like 5% Legion attack reduction is a huge debuff, right? So you are not only getting more damage, you are also decreasing their enemies' attack, right? Which means enemies attacking your archers, you are dealing counter attack damage, their attack is decreased, and you are dealing damage back to them. But this video is not about strengths, this video is about investment, like what would be the best ways. Should you pass on it or should you invest in these heroes, right? For Sybil, if you are a free-to-play player and if you have saved a lot of gems, maybe you can invest in her. But if you are just like deciding with like 10 or 20 legendary tokens in your collection, I would not really advise you to put tokens here, because this rally skill will ruin a lot of things. Of course, if you got super lucky and you have 5155, congratulations, you are amazing. You better go to, I don't know, you have amazing luck, by the way, right? That's the main point. So, like, if you're gonna compare two of them in terms of pass or invest, I would go for Falgrim invest and Sybil just to wait until you will get lucky. Don't put too much tokens here before Falgrim, in my opinion, because every single level which you're gonna put on Falgrim will be more valuable, right? And let's now like try to compare Falgrim and Sybil to other archer heroes, because that's the important part, right? That's the important part. Currently, it would not be a really big surprise if I would say that number one archer hero pair is Magrot and Zaida, and of course I'm going to compare Magrot and Zaida to Falgrim and Sybil, right? I think in general together Falgrim and Sybil should not work if you are putting Falgrim's skill talent tree. If you want to run Falgrim and Sybil together, you want to use Marksman or PvP talent tree, because skill has crit damage talents inside, and this hero pair doesn't really do any crit. It doesn't really have insider's kit, right? So that's why comparing two of them together, it wouldn't be unfair, because Magrot and Zaida is the best hero pair together, and I'm not really sure if Falgrim and Sybil is the best pair together, right? And yet again, I will mention one more time, I tried Falgrim with Nico, I tried Kinara and Sybil on my other video on test server, where I showcase the reports, and you can guys check in how much damage this Falgrim, Nico and Sybil Kinara work together, and like 56-61k merits against purely only dealing damage to infantry tanks. That's amazing, right? So in comparisons to Magrot and Zaida, even on the test server fight, Magrot and Zaida was still better, right? And all of these heroes were awakened, and in general I would say Magrot and Zaida will be still the best hero pair for archers in the game, even after the Falgrim and Sybil is out, right? And simply I think the amount of heals and amount of damage amplifiers with healing this hero pair has is just too much to not to do it, right? And if we're gonna compare to the new heroes, I think at first make your Magrot 5-5-5, try to awaken Zaida, and then put your attention to Falgrim, right? That should be the idea. And honestly, if we are purely deciding which hero pair does more merits, Magrot and Zaida does more merits, which hero pair and which hero will do more damage to tanks, I think Falgrim will deal more damage to tanks, with Kinara, with Nico especially, and even like Sybil, but not with this skill talent tree, right? So comparisons is really easy. If you want to check merits, check the video which I will put on description. Like the difference is pretty huge, like almost every single report, Magrot and Zaida was better. So there is not a chance, in my opinion, that Falgrim and Sybil will be better than Magrot and Zaida. But it doesn't really mean that they are bad. I think there will be second best heroes for archers. I truly believe that it would be super hard for them to make better version of Magrot and Zaida for the archers. And it's good, because I don't want to have too much OP stuff for archers, even as an archer main, because it will be super boring. Everybody will start playing with archers. So like we compare to best hero pair in the game, but it doesn't mean that Falgrim and Sybil is bad, right? Besides Magrot and Zaida, I think Falgrim and Sybil is amazing hero pair, number 2 best hero pair after Magrot and Zaida, so it's good enough, right? And I love that one of the new heroes was Control. And of course, in terms of hero pairs, I will give you my small suggestions. What would I run if I had even awakened heroes, or not awakened heroes, just good ones to fight in open field. So first of all, I would say, like, I would run Falgrim and Nico, and I would run Kinara and Sybil. Kinara and Sybil for debuffs, for buffs, even the rage is great. And defense break is great for Kinara. Our no HP bonus is amazing. Scale damage bonus is great. So I think Kinara and Sybil is amazing hero pair. And if I will ever get Sybil at least like 5-1, like I don't know 3-3, I would be running Skinnara with Sybil, and the same with Falgrim and Nico. That will be my hero pair if I will unlock Falgrim as fast as possible and add some levels. Of course, one more hero pair which we kinda have to mention, Falgrim and Sybil, and I will say it one more time, if you want to run this hero pair together, don't choose talent tree skill, go for marksman talent tree, you will deal way more damage, right? There is a lot of tests done already in a test server. For example, Guns Code, you can check it. He mainly played Falgrim and Sybil, and I truly believe that skill talent tree won't be great if you are running Falgrim with Sybil, right? And of course, we have to mention in terms of artifact. For example, for the Falgrim hero pair, I would highly recommend to go for the newest artifact for Falgrim, which is great one, especially for the PvP, which is the Iron Tusk, right? I tried this artifact, which was 5 level. I was getting a huge amount of merits. If you are running the Falgrim and Nico, Falgrim and Sybil, go for Iron Tusk. It will not be a miss, right? And of course, it's not a surprise. Iron Tusk is kinda exclusive artifact for the Falgrim, and that's the way I'm thinking too, right? Because whenever I was using this artifact, everything was amazing. So if you want Falgrim primary, Iron Tusk. But if you are running just like me, Kinnara and Sybil or Kinnara, of course you are going to run with the Rattle Spear, right? Rattle Spear will be the choice for Kinnara and Sybil. In my opinion, pretty easy to understand. Exclusive artifact for Kinnara. I put Rattle Spear whenever Kinnara is matched with anybody because the synergy is just too simply amazing, right? And of course, if you are running Falgrim and the Sybil together, the Iron Tusk should be the choice, in my opinion, right? And for the war pets, well, if you are running Falgrim and Nico, I would go for the... Well, in general, I think there is one secret one secret war pet which will be working amazingly well with the Falgrim and the Nico hero pair. That's of course Snow Peak Rock is one choice, and there is another choice which is Venomous Lizard, right? Venomous Lizard is not only amazing for infantry, but it's also an amazing for archers, right? Depending on your gameplay. Here you can see only Counter-Strike synergies, but if you will put Chain Strike and Wild Chain Strike, trust me, your damage will be great. And plus, you can use Venomous Lizard with Kinnara and Sybil or Falgrim and Nico, and you can use Snow Peak Rock like with Falgrim and Nico and Kinnara and Sybil. So I think for Falgrim and for Sybil, Snow Peak Rock and the Venomous Lizard should be the choices for the war pit, right? And basically, I have tested both of them together. If you want to see the reports, I have already mentioned. I will put video on the description and check the reports. I think I was using Falgrim and Nico with Snow Peak Rock and Kinnara and Sybil with Venomous Lizard, and the amount of damage I was dealing, it was super surprising. So in terms of like final verdict, where like would I advise anybody and in general everyone to invest full on the new heroes? I would say at first make Magrat 555, make Zaida Awakened if you can, of course, and then put your attention to Falgrim. I would say adding levels to Falgrim would be primary choice in comparison to Sybil, but if you got lucky somehow and you unlocked Sybil from the Strongest Lord or from the Wheel of Destiny, which is really hard for the free-to-play players, I think you should not really put too much legendary tokens here because of the rally skill, right? But if you are a high spender, whale, pay-to-win player, I think you would want to have Sybil primary, like you would want to put all the skills on Sybil, because not only Sybil will be the best archer or rally leader, plus I think Kinnara and Sybil and in general control gameplay is super exciting in Hall of Dragons. I really like all these buffers and debuffers in the game because they actually make a big difference during the open field PvP, right? So, free-to-play player, low spenders, Falgrim is for you, more pay-to-win players and high spenders, Sybil. But for all players, I would say at first make Magrot 555, awaken Zaida, and then put your tokens to Falgrim and Sybil, because I still believe Magrot and Zaida is the best archer hero pair in the game. That's all I wanted to show and speak about in terms of new heroes. Hopefully this video will be helpful for everybody. If it was, press like, subscribe, share. It always gives me more and more motivation to make more content for this game. I wish everybody amazing morning, day and night. We are going to see each other really soon. Bye bye. Luck.